But when I want to do something, I get up and do it. Whenever I was 11 years old, I read this book called Skateboard Tough, and I wanted to go forth and have a skate park for me and my buddies to hang out in town. Now, I grew up in Dumas, Texas. We had about 13,000 people up there. So I went to my dad's parts shop, and there he had the Napa Auto Parts there. Went up there and made about 100 copies of this letter that I wrote to the city commissioners to get this skate park built and handed out to people. They got mad at me because I was wasting money, which is, my dad's pretty tight. He's back there in the back row. I handed it out and I got to the city commissioners, got to the mayor, and 2 years later we had a skate park built. If you stick I'm a firm believer, if you stick your mind to something and stick your heart into it, you're going to get some done, you get some change done. And my heart and my mind's in this 100%. I'm still working full time for the railroad, and I'm pushing forth with this. And I have a full time family. I'm a full time dad, father, and husband. I'm a full time employee, and I'm doing this campaign full time. Up until the end of this last summer, I was a full time student at West Texas A&M University. I'm a pre-med student. I'm getting my dual degree in biochemistry and biology, and plan on going to medical school when I got done. But I took off to take care of my family because it was kind of getting tight around the railroad. And the railroad, if you know anything about it, they do a lot of furloughs and layoffs whenever things get tight economically and stuff. And kind of foreseen that coming, so I took off. And luckily, I went to Colorado to go chase work for a month, and came back. And here I am. It's whenever I decided, it's now or never. Let's get this thing knocked out. Big issues that we're looking at here is, we have a lot of spending issues in the United States. We spend a lot of money giving foreign aid to countries that don't deserve it, people that hate us, people that dislike us. Biggest example is the Obama administration. He gave off billions of dollars of assets to Iran. And the Iranian government was indirectly fighting us, and still to this day indirectly fights us through IEDs and arms sent to and given to Iraqi insurgents and also Taliban forces. Many of the IEDs and EFPs that come back, they actually end up coming back, registered back to Iran with the sources of Iran after they've been analyzed in the lab. We need to focus on our strength in our military. We need to continue to strengthen our military. We always need to make sure that we're ready to fight no matter what. And we need to be prepared in the offense for opposing threats to our country, and also for any of our allies that might need us later on. Veterans issues happens to be a huge thing in our area. Wichita Falls, y'all are kind of centralized. You have the VA hospital up in Oklahoma City. You have the VA hospital in Dallas-Fort Worth. So you can kind of pick and choose which one you need to go to if they allow it. And it's just kind of terrible because it's not really so much of a universal system. And a lot of veterans have issues with this in these rural areas. We have veterans that go out and travel 100, 150, 200 miles away just to go to the VA appointment. They're 10, 15 minutes late, they get turned around, they get shooed away. We have issues with veterans showing up to these appointments, getting shooed away at the mental health facility. Next thing you know, they go out in the parking lot and they shoot themselves, they kill themselves. It's an issue. It's an issue that's just, they go out and they go fight for us. They go fight for our country and defend that Constitution, but they're not taken care of. And we can swing that back around right now to where we have these socialist Democrats that are running for president right now that want to impose a free healthcare system for the United States. And you know what the problem is with that? Is we have the biggest free healthcare system right now for our military men and women who wouldn't fight, and it's not working. If you can't get that to work for the people that actually fought for you, what makes you think that's actually going to work in a free healthcare system that they're wanting to propose? We can talk about that all day long. And we can, with our area, like I talked about earlier, we have a lot of rural area values. And, we can talk about oil and gas this, oil and gas that. We can Google what our biggest resources are. We can talk about our defense system, how we have Pantex, Bell Helicopter. We can talk about how we have Shepherd Air Force Base. And when it really comes down to it, it's about actually focusing on our people here as well. We have a lot of issues. We can throw around, we all love Trump. He's a great president. He's done a lot of great things for us. He's a little abrasive and rough around the edges, tells it how it is. Sometimes people don't agree with it, but I think he's one of the most brilliant presidents we have. And we have had, because what he does, he likes to take off the media, let him focus over here on the right, while he's over here on the left doing what needs to be done. Give him a little bone. It's like giving a dog a bone so you can go in the house real quick so he won't follow you back in. So just to bring it around into closing, we have stop stupid spending. That's really what it comes down to, and giving foreign aid to people that don't need it, to people that don't respect us as a country. and mock us and make fun of us behind closed doors. We need to focus on our veterans and our military, strengthen our military, focus on our veterans when they come back home, focus on them, make sure that we get them taken care of with their mental health. That happens to be the largest issues. We need to focus more on TBI, which is traumatic brain injury. And a lot of that, there's a lot of research needs to go into that, and a lot of people, whenever they get blown up by an IED, it rattles their brains up a little bit, and they have issues with remembering things and stuff. And same thing with PTSD awareness, PTSD treatment, and making sure that veterans know they can go get help. They're not going to get their guns taken away with these red flag laws that are ridiculous. Anybody can say someone's going to go do something, but you shouldn't. I'm not going to go far off on that trail right now. And of course, we have a rural value area, or rural values. Everything from church to growing up here in our area to our morals. It's something very sacred. You go up and down 287 right now between here and Amarillo, you're going to see Jesus loves you signs all over the place, and that's very true. And that's the thing that we're straying so far away from here in the United States is we're straying away from God, we're straying away from the Bible, and the teaching of that through our children. That's why whenever I got out of the military, I came back home to where I grew up at and where I was raised, because I wanted to make sure that I raised my family correctly with the same morals and values I was instilled in. Whenever I was going to church, going to Sunday school, going to youth group, that's where I'm at. My grandfather, he had this saying. He passed away back in 2000. I was looking up some old. Sometimes I'll Google my name to see what's going on. I'm named after my grandfather, and I found this old news article from the High Plains Journal, I think it was, up in Spearman in Hansford County here in our district. My grandfather had a saying in Hansford County: "If you wear out a pair of boots in this county, you will never leave." And I believe in that statement 100%. I've wore out several pairs of boots. I've been wearing the same pair of boots for about 5 years, and I finally went and bought a pair for this campaign so I'd have something nice to wear. And they were wore out. My dog chewed out the tops of them. They chewed the tops off of them, and I moved back. I grew up here in the district. I moved back here in the district after my military service. Even when I was in the military service, this was my home of record because this was home for me. This is where I wanted to raise my family. And I'm just going to leave you with that this evening.
I am here because I chose to run for Congress as well as all the other candidates. And I chose to run, well, let me start with who I am. Like I said, my name is Monique Worthy. I'm 30 years old. I was born in Wichita Falls, Texas, raised in Fort Worth, Texas until I was 16. At 16, I went to Job Corps in Oklahoma and graduated from Job Corps with a GED, and that's what my neighbor at the time before I went to Job Corps, she would tell us, I was around 15, 16 then, and she was like, "Baby, make sure you get your high school diploma because you don't want no GED." I ended up getting a GED, but let me explain to you what she said about the GED. So I was like, I didn't even know what a GED was back then. So I was like, "Well, what's a GED?" She said, "A good enough diploma." So I was like, oh, okay, so I don't want a GED. So I struggled in high school. I struggled in school because of math. To me, math was not my strong suit. If math was a real person, we get into it every day. And math would absolutely kick my tail. And I ain't one for tail kickers. So I ended up going to Job Corps at the age of 15, and I graduated at 16. And when I graduated with certification in word processing and business office technologies, and my GED, of course. So I came home at the age of 16. I got into public housing. I was living in a Wichita Falls Housing Authority, and only for like 3 months. Then I ended up moving to Dallas, came back to Wichita, and when I came back to Wichita, I was looking for work. As I was looking for work, I was looking for an office setting because that's where my education was. I felt like personally that restaurants and things of that nature were beneath me because of my education. But what was I in for a rude awakening? So as I'm looking for work, I'm noticing that I'm not getting any calls back or anything like that. And it was mainly because of my age, but also because I wasn't interviewing right or something of the sort, or whatever the case may have been, or someone else may have had more experience than me. So what I did was I turned to a life of crime. I became a convicted felon by the age of 21. So a lot of people may look at them like, oh no, not her, but listen, let me tell you, I'm going in Congress, a convicted felon. A lot of people come out of Congress, convicted felons. There's something there, you know what I mean? So, I mean, I turned my life around, and I'm trying to do better with myself, as most people try to do. I feel that with the Republican Party, our issue lies in these primaries, because too often we're looking for the perfect candidates. The candidates who have no blemishes on their records, who come from high and mighty families, you know, big name, big money, and stuff like that. I have none of that. I don't come from any of that. I don't portray to come from any of that. I'm just a regular American trying to help regular Americans be regular Americans. So that's a little bit about my background. And I feel like it was important for me to run because too many people expect greatness from nothing. You know, we send people up to Congress expecting them to do great. When they get there, you know, everybody runs as conservatives. Everybody say, well, I'm conservative this and I'm conservative that, but where were you when things were popping off? Where were you in the streets and stuff like that? You know, where were you when it was time to talk to people? Talk to regular people, get out there and talk to them and let them know how conservative you were. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, me, I come from the impoverished communities. I come from the east side of Wichita Falls, so I know what people are looking for over there. But what I don't know what people are looking for is people like in the more affluent neighborhoods, you know? So I'm not coming up to you to say that I'm running for Congress because I want more welfare or anything like that. No, I'm absolutely opposed to it. Okay, I feel like welfare is a stain on our communities. Welfare is a stain on America, and welfare just brings more people here that we don't need here. If you come here to leech out the system, you don't need to be here. Okay, everybody's saying that we need to have comprehensive immigration reform. Well, let me tell you, there's nothing comprehensive about bringing more poor folk to a nation with a bunch of poor folk already.
Amen.
So we need to fix that issue right there. If you're going to come here the right way, and come here with a mindset of giving. You know, like, who was it, John Kennedy, who said, ask not what your country can do for you, but ask what you can do for your country. Don't come over here expecting us to do nothing for you. Come over here expecting us to ask you what you can do for us. We didn't ask for you, you asked for us. So don't come over here with your hand out expecting something and then get mad when we can't give it to you. That's a problem. So I feel like we need to drastically reform immigration. I'm not talking about making it easier for immigrants to get here. You know what I mean? Because America is a privileged nation. We come from a privileged background. Everything about us is greatness. A lot of people ask us all the time, what do you mean, what Donald Trump mean when he said make America great again? Does that mean make America right again? No, it means make America great again. Back when everybody was great, everybody was doing good. Not just this section, not just that section, but every section. You know what I mean? And then we have candidates who say that, you know, well, we need to reach across the aisle. We've done too much of that already. It seems like we give up too much and Democrats give up nothing. I'm tired of reaching across the aisle. I don't know about y'all, but I'm tired of it. My arms is hurting, okay? My legs is hurting from trying to do like this and asking what you gonna give us. You know, so it's a problem. Let's stop being that party who just sits back waiting for things to happen. I tell people all the time, the Democrats are like these bad kids. Y'all know I won't say another word, but they like these bad kids who run around and do what they want, and the Republican Party is the parents who just stand around and can't get their kids under control. You know, little Chinese, sit down. Amy, don't do that. No, we don't need no more of that. I'm tired of it, and I know everybody else is tired of it as well. We're tired of these politicians telling us one thing and then going and doing another thing. You want comprehensive, you want bipartisan, you want this, you want that, but the only thing bipartisan is Republicans. And Republican voters are tired of it. I got tired of it. That's why I chose to run for Congress. Okay? I got tired of sitting back listening to Mark Levin and Rush Limbaugh all on the radio. Yeah, I don't know about y'all, but black people love drama. Okay? That's why when you pass by our houses and you see them messed up blinds, that's what that's all about. Because we steady peeking out the window trying to see what's going on. So it's going to crush y'all how I became a Republican. I became a Republican being incarcerated. Okay, being in jail, that's where I found conservatism. Okay, I went in jail a Democrat, and I came out not just a Republican, but a conservative Republican. I was passing through the radio one day, and I was like, "Ooh, Lord, I'm tired of hearing the same songs over and over. Lord, is there something else?" I love listening to gospel music. I love gospel music, most beautiful sound in the world. So I turned it to the AM station, hoping to find a gospel station. When I turned it on there, that's when I heard Mark Levin yelling. And like I said, black people love drama. We like to know what's going on. So I'm like, ooh, somebody arguing about something. So I started listening to him. And as I'm listening to him, I get the feel of conservatism. At first, I was kind of put off, like, ooh, he kind of crazy. But I'm kind of crazy too. Not in that kind of way. Just the kind of speak your mind kind of crazy. Them kind of folks in your family who you love and they tell you the truth, but you really don't want to take them around the hoity-toity people because they ain't got no hoity-toity ways. So I'm that kind of person, And as I'm listening to him, I'm like, okay, I like this, I like that. And then I heard Rush Limbaugh. So I say Mark Levin is my spiritual animal, and then Rush Limbaugh is my mind function. He can mind screw you if you let him. And that's what I like about him. Because he gets in your head, man. He lets you think of things in ways you would have never thought about doing it. So that's how I became to be a Republican, being incarcerated. So a lot of people think jail, I don't wish jail on nobody, okay? But if you do the crime, you do the time. I did my crime. I did the time. Now, I ain't go to jail for rape or nothing like that. I ain't murdered nobody or nothing like that. I was a thief. I was out stealing stuff, putting my hands on folks stuff didn't belong. And, after a certain amount of misdemeanors, they say, okay, well, you done had your chance. Now we're just going to make you a convicted felon. So my life has been changed because of it. But because of that, I have found conservatism. And I thank God for that. Because I had somebody ask me the other day, how do we know that you're not a Democrat running as a Republican? Hey, you see my social media? That's all I do, baby, is Republican. I feel like Republicans have forgot how to Republican. They seem to be Democrat-light. I call a lot of Republicans Democrat-light Republicans because they legislate as Democrats and then come home and sell it to us as, well, we were fighting and we tried to be bipartisan about it. Okay, well, you're the problem. You're part of the problem. And we need to get rid of those kind of Republicans. We're tired of them. I'm tired of them. Is y'all tired of them? Okay, then let's act like it. Okay, let's stop electing people who look good and sound good, and when they get up there, there's nothing good about them. They tell you, well, we had to vote for this spending bill because, we wasn't going to get such and such. You're not going to get such and such anyway. Stand on what you believe in. Go out there and fight for conservative values, because I'm tired, as a Republican, of trying to explain to Democrats or people who I'm trying to get in the Republican Party, when they say stuff like, well, the Democrats did this, but the Republicans ain't no better because, y'all got Mitt Romney up there. Well, listen, I didn't vote for Mitt Romney, okay? So I ain't got nothing to say about Mitt Romney. All I can say is I'm mad at Utahns. Oh, ain't he from Utah? I'm mad at Utahns. I feel like they don't know how to vote. Because how you vote for Trump and then vote for somebody like Romney? So I'm tired of trying, y'all gotta excuse me, I'm getting worked up. So I'm tired, what it is I'm tired of explaining to people who I want to join the party why it is that Republicans vote for things like things that where we can't explain to them as conservatives how we feel as conservatives. They're like, well, you voted for this and you voted for that. Well, no, I didn't, but they did, and we're trying to fix that. And how we fix that is we engage in these primaries. Not too many of us